Coach, I don't know how much more adversity one team can go through tonight, but the fact that you guys pulled it out, what does it say about the team?
Just grateful, man. I want to thank God. Just, it's been hard to come by wins lately, and these guys in our locker room, high character. They play hard, play together, and I'm proud of them. Proud of how they stuck together throughout the whole game. And it's really good to get a win going into the break, building some confidence, momentum.
I mean, you could throw out flowers to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, this was one of those team effort games, wasn't it, where everybody had to contribute to get the W?
Yeah, it really was. Literally everyone that played tonight, they contributed in a big way, and we needed that. We needed that effort, that togetherness. And like I said, I'm proud of these guys and what they had to go through to carve out a win on their home floor. So big time.
Well, what can you say about the play of CJ? Missed the floater in regulation and then just kind of made sure to bring it home in overtime.
CJ is he's incredible. He's one of our guys that's literally holding things together in the locker room with these young guys. He's been through so much throughout the course of his career, having him on our team. He's a stable force, and we see it, week in and week out, that he comes out, he plays, he gives it everything he has every night. And tonight he carried us when we needed him to.
Some big baskets by JRE there too, like fourth quarter. Just what can you say about his play?
Yeah, same thing. Jeremiah, it starts with all these guys with their character. Jeremiah, hadn't played in a few games, playing here, not playing there, but just he stays working, stays in the gym, and it was good to see him touch the floor, and he contributed as well, hit some big shots, made some big plays for us, and super proud of how these guys stay ready.
And it feels like we kind of done this a few times this year, but CJ, guy 33 years old on a team that's lost 10 games in a row, one game away from All-Star break. A lot of dudes would be kind of Cancun mindset at that point. To have that kind of game, to have multiple games like that this season, what does that kind of say about him?
It speaks a lot to who he is and how he prepares. It speaks a lot to his ability to not allow circumstances to control his effort, to control his joy that he brings to our team. He's really, like I said, he's really our stable force right now. With the young guys, he's still going to dinners. He's still hosting dinners. He's still coming into practice every single day, ready, prepared. And, I don't know where we would be without, his leadership right now.
And Trey, this is one of those games where the shots were falling, but you talk a lot about, even when the shots aren't falling, finding other ways to make an impact. How much did you kind of see that from him, like just finding other ways to put his fingerprints on his game?
We're continuing to see the evolution of Trey. One rebound away from a triple-double. We're using him in different spots. He's handling the ball more. We put the ball in his hands in a post-up situation. A little bit of ISO. Defensively, he's getting better and better. And, it's fun. It's fun to see his growth, his maturity on the floor, and he wants these opportunities. And that's the beauty in Trey, is that he's another guy that's in the gym every day working, coming back at night, and it's good to see him take advantage of the opportunity in front of him.
And you didn't get any word on Eve yet, did you?
No, no word on Eve yet.
And I mean, just at that point when he goes down, what's it like looking down at the end of the bench and like, okay, Carlos is basically the only big guy we have, and we got to deal with Sabonis and JV on the other side. Kind of what's that like, going into the fourth quarter?
Well, your heart goes out to Eve because you don't want to see another one of our players go down, and so immediately you're like, I hope he's okay. So we'll hear back soon, but now it's next man up, and they went two bigs on the floor at one time, hoping that we would make an adjustment, and we wanted to stay small, spread them out, see if we can get some of those rebounds, open the floor up, and that's where Jeremiah really he flourished in those opportunities where we were small on the floor, switching 1 through 5, and just trying to be physical.
When you look at tonight, just the way you took care of the basketball, the pace that the guys played with on when this game could have, especially in the second half, when second game of a back-to-back, you're going home, like you said, guys could have checked out mentally. To get all 9, 10, 11 guys, guys who played tonight, to give you something, what does that say about them not letting go of the rope when they could have going into this break?
It says a lot. It's our guys have been incredible all season, and I know the results aren't there. They know the results aren't there, but they're steadily, every day taking advantage of the opportunities in front of them. It's a blessing to be able to walk into an NBA arena, put on an NBA jersey, and step on an NBA floor. And they understand that. And every day they're attacking the day. I'm proud of our guys. I'm proud of the character in our locker room. I said it, last night. I'm proud of our staff. Everybody stayed together, and we continue to work. And we're embracing this journey together.
In your previous 3 All-Star breaks, when you came back, you knew you were going to ramp up for the playoffs, that there was going to be a pursuit of that. Now that maybe isn't on the table, what do you do during this break for yourself to recalibrate? And then do you and David Griffin have conversations about what the remainder of the season is supposed to accomplish?
Yeah, absolutely. We will definitely take a few days and decompress a bit. And we've already been talking about how to attack the next 27, I think, games, how to attack these games. And it's really to, build momentum for our group. And so we'll have more talks about that as we continue.
Another fast start for Jose. I think he had 8 points first quarter, 14 at halftime, 4 threes. I think he's had 3 out of the last 4 games fast starts for you. What are you noticing with him now that he's become a starter for you? Like what's been the biggest development for him in his point guard duties that you've seen him advance forward?
Yeah, his playmaking ability is at a high level right now. I think he had 9 assists last game, 18 and 8 tonight. He's getting us off to fast starts. So we're seeing him play with confidence, take advantage of this opportunity. And, it's great. This is what I love to see in our players is the progression from when they come in, as young guys to 3, 4, 5 years in, and you can see them continuing to get better.
And also got to talk about Hawk. It looked like he shook some of the bad games that he's had of late. Positive shooting performance. And Javante, he had 5 steals for you guys, including that big one.
Yeah. Both guys were huge for us. Javante understands his role and how he can impact his team on both ends of the floor. He's doing that. And then Jordan Hawkins, he's been battling all season. He's still battling through adjusting to his body coming back from injuries. But he's a warrior. He steps on the floor. He doesn't complain. He goes out there every night and he brings it. So good to see him have a bounce back game tonight.
Have you had to help him at all with his confidence because he has been probably the biggest extended slump of his career?
We just continue to talk through it, and I'm letting him know how much we all trust him, how much we believe in him, and as long as he executes the non-negotiables, you got daylight, shoot the ball, be you, and that's the goal for him as we progress.
Hey, well, as far as you know, are you going to make a trip to San Francisco?
I don't have any information yet on Eve, and when we do, we'll let you guys know. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
CJ, feels like we've done this a few times this season, but to have a season like this, team-wise, and this stage in your career, and to still be putting up games like this, what is it? What kind of mental focus, physical strain has it required to still be able to have these type of games at this point in the season?
Yeah, it's. We're still very blessed and fortunate to be able to play this sport. Obviously, we're not winning games, and we've dug ourselves in quite the hole. And excuse me, from an expectation standpoint, obviously we haven't lived up to our personal expectations or outside expectations. But the season isn't lost. There's still stuff we can take away from this season. There's still some character building that can occur. Obviously, player development, and for me personally, it's just being thankful of the fact that I get to play this game. You know what I mean? Like, there's guys that have gone through injuries this year. DeJounte's out, Herb's out. There's guys that wish they could, even have the opportunity to play this game. And we can't take our health for granted. We can't take the game for granted. We can't take, where we're at for granted. I think perception and perspective is really important at this stage for all of us, and especially for me. Having been in the league a long time, having goals and aspirations and things I want to accomplish from a team standpoint, and not being able to do it this year doesn't mean that I should just punt the season. There's still stuff I can get better at. There's still stuff that I need to work on, and there's things that I worked on this summer that I want to make sure I get to display and get to work on in games. And nights like this, where you get off the slow starts, you mentally you might be. And I was in Florida. I think in the first half, mentally, I was in Florida, walking on the beach and enjoying. Mentally, you try to stay as present as possible, and sometimes you float. And I think we all do that. It's normal. It's a part of our human flaw is to try to be present and mentally try to lock in. And second half, I try to be more present, try to just take advantage of the fact that I'm playing the game and be more aggressive and savor my Florida vacation for later.
I guess, how do you kind of mentally process it where, obviously you've been on teams that have won big, made deep playoff runs, but also, individually this feels like, one of your better seasons just because of some of these games. I guess, how do you kind of process the back and forth of that?
Yeah, I mean, I judge my individual success based on our team success. So I always say, I've played well this season, and, when the season's over, I'll average a good amount of points. I'll shoot good percentages and, be around 4 or 5 rebounds, 4 or 5 assists, pretty much what I've done my whole career. But it's more about the approach, the consistency, and the work ethic, stacking my days. What type of leader am I being in the locker room? What type of example am I setting? In spite of the type of season that we're having, how do I approach these games that, to some may be meaningless, right? These aren't really games of consequence, if that makes sense. It's always meaningful because, right, we're blessed and fortunate to play the game. There's fans that are coming. There's people that are spending their money. But in terms of having a shot at, playing past April 12th, it's slim. So it's about the approach. It's about the day-to-day habits and what are we building and establishing for next season. How do I want, my legacy to be remembered, in a year like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to just punt a year away. I want to display my talents. I want to take advantage of what the good Lord has given me. And, my sons still come to the game. My wife still come to the game. They still support me. And I don't want to let them down, So I think it's about finding, before games, what's your why? Figure out what your why is. And remember that, when you were younger, you wish you had this opportunity to play this game on this stage. And life is not as hard as we're making it.
I hear everything you're saying. But tonight it seemed like there was also something else that was motivating you at times. Like, there was a lot of physicality on your end, defensively, and then offensively. It seemed like you were getting.
You got a flight to catch.
There was some verbal back and forth between you and the Kings bench at times. What was going on there to motivate you as well? Because it seemed like there was a little edge to your game in the second half of the season.
I thought the refs were great. I thought the Kings were great. I thought that, there's some great young players over there. There's some great older players over there. I think they got a great coaching staff. I love Jay Crowder. Big fan of Jay Crowder. Love DeMar. Zach LaVine, great guy. Malik Monk, fantastic human being. Keon Ellis, great shooter, great defender. Keegan Murray, outstanding defender, great shooter. And I thought that, it was just a well-officiated game, a well-played game. And I should have finished it in regulation. And since I didn't, I figured I would finish it in overtime.
You certainly did finish it tonight. Also, just to have the milestone, you moved into third place all time in franchise's history with 40-point games, with your fifth one with this team. As you asked a little bit earlier about the kind of personal success that you had in a season that's been so difficult. What do you think that example sets for the younger players on this team who are at the starts of their careers about what it means to those days that you cannot take off, that these games are of consequence, whether or not they bring you higher in the standings or not?
Yeah, I mean, I don't play the game for that type of stuff. It's nice to hear it, and it's great, but I play the game because I love it. Like, I don't need basketball. I choose to play basketball every day, and I choose to be away from my family. I choose to spend my time, working on my game at night, lifting and all that stuff. So I think it's more about the daily habits. If you do what you're supposed to do consistently, if you take the game seriously, if you maximize your talents, and you play long enough, you'll be able to accomplish those types of things. You'll score 40. In some games, you'll hit 10 threes. You'll average 20. Some guys could average 25. If you do what you're supposed to do and really take advantage of the game, it's more in the work. So I just try to fall in love with the work and the process of the work. And that's what I've done, and that's why I'm in year 12. And that's why, if the good Lord allows, I'll be able to play until I don't want to play anymore. And I think that's the goal. I hope they're learning that. Work hard, take the game seriously, enjoy your life, have a personal life outside of basketball, and devote your time to it while you have it. And when it's over, have something else that you can fall back on and do that brings you joy and happiness, because it's a revolving door. It's here today, it's gone tomorrow. No one really remembers, 20 years from now. Great job, Trey.
CJ,
That's it. That's it. He told me to go. It's franchise.
real quick, CJ. Willie said in the postgame that you're really the guy that's responsible for keeping this locker room together despite all these losing streaks. Can you clue us in on what you're exactly doing for the guys?
You'll have to ask Trey about that. Thank you, guys. Have a great break.
Where in Florida?
Dang. I'll tell you when I get back. I'm not taking security, so I'll tell you when I get back.
You too. Have a great one, Trey.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you too.
We were asking CJ about this, but I mean, for him to have these type of
I can't lie, that's a clean lineup. Sorry, call me on guard, dog. That's a clean lineup, bro. My bad. Call me on guard. Go ahead. Ask your questions. My bad.
We were asking him about having that personal success at this stage of his career, despite the lack of success team wise. What's it been like just seeing him show up and produce despite the record?
Yeah, like I've said many times before, he's probably been the person I've learned from the most. He's been super professional even at this age of his career. And, I think that was, I'm not going to say it's the reason why he's on the team, but, like, for me, I try to figure out reasons why, like, people are in my life, and I feel like CJ's been somebody that's been, like, a mentor and, like, taught me how to really handle business and be a pro as well.
And for you, another game with career high in assists, almost triple-double.
Hold up. Before you say that, I had a back tap that was credited to Carlo, but anyway, though. Continue. Probably should have been 10 rebounds, but continue, though.
Yeah, asked the lead to review that one. But, I mean, does this feel like one of those games where, despite the shot not falling the way you used to, just finding other ways to contribute, whether it be, creating for others or getting on the boards? Was that kind of the mindset throughout this game?
I mean, the biggest thing is just, taking what the defense gives me. I mean, they're really keyed in on, helping really heavily on my drives and being there in the paint, crowding the paint. So it was just finding an open teammate, and that was what I was just trying to do.
What are you learning through this process for yourself in having these nights where you have to facilitate some nights, you have to be more physical some nights, you got to be the shooter some nights? How are you making these situationally, knowing that where before your role might have been a little bit more specific, it has to be much more fluid for you?
Like I told you guys a while ago, I can do everything on the court, and I think it's coming to light now, and just showing them I'm not just somebody that can just catch and shoot.
Going into this All-Star break, this is the first time in your career where you maybe not feel like coming back you'll make a playoff push. For you, in these last 20-something games till the end of the season, are you using this break to reset and kind of figure out what your goals are going to be, or is it just I want to come back and continue to stack what I've already been stacking?
I mean, obviously I'm going to take the break, take advantage of, time off. But, I'm going to come back into the next games and have the same mentality I had for the other games I've played. So,
excited for the break. Excited to, get away for a little bit and, enjoy myself, rest my legs, and then get back to work once I come back.
You got a great performance from the bench as well tonight. Everybody contributed in some way. Coming off a game like last night where it was a lot more difficult, turnovers, all those things. What was the difference mentally in switching it when guys could have checked out and been thinking about the break?
Really just playing as a team, trying to just sharing the ball. I think that's the biggest thing. When everybody's touching the ball, they feel like they're more involved into the game and they want to play harder once they're touching the ball. There's times I know my rookie year when, I wasn't touching the ball and it's like, tough night to play. But then once you're hitting shots, people are passing you the ball, it makes you want to play a little bit harder. So I think it's just a little bit of that sometimes,
Glad to be done with the Kings.
I ain't going to say all that, but, they got us 3 times, but I can't lie, we saw them a few too many times the last week, so, yeah.
And what's it like fourth quarter when Reese's out and only thing you got left is Makovich and you got to find a way to keep Sabonis and JV off the board? Like, how much is that kind of, a talking point for y'all late in the game?
I don't think we really did that too well. If you want me to be completely honest with you, I think Sabonis had 28 rebounds. Obviously, it's a focus, and we all had to gang rebound. That was the biggest thing. I think we did that a little bit better, and towards the end of the game than we did, previously in the beginning of the game. So it's just a team collective effort to rebound like that. Yeah, no, I say he was MVP. CJ had a great game. Let me say that first. CJ had a great game, but Earl played a really big game. He had a really big game, and it's hard. Not playing and then coming in, you have to play big minutes and you got hit shots and stuff like that. And, there's one he turned down in the first half, or want to say, and I was just telling him, look, you can't turn down shots. You got to shoot it. Like, you're open, shoot the ball. And then after that, he knocked him down, hit 2 big free throws down the stretch. Like, that's something he can do. And he definitely helped us win this game.
Trey, Jose's had 8 or more assists in 3 of the last 4 games. What kind of growth have you seen from just that point guard position, right? Where he's got to lead your team from basically tip-off.
Yeah, no, he's been a lot more poised. I think he's, figuring himself out and just trying to get back in rhythm. He was playing really well before he got injured. Had to come back, and, we had DeJounte, Z with the ball, CJ. There was a lot of people that were, had the ball in their hand, and now, he's able to really just, hold the reins of point guard. So I just think he's just playing like himself.
Trey, when the game ended in regulation like it did, where did y'all kind of find the extra fight, to still come back in?
Just figuring it out, digging our way out of it. Obviously we didn't want to go to overtime. We're up 3 with 7 seconds left. Got to find a way to win that game in regulation. But, some things, it just happens. Some days it just happens like that. And we went to overtime. We huddled up. We were like, look, we're going to figure this out, get a win. And that was it.
When you, just one more big picture going forward after the break, just from your perspective as obviously, you signed a contract recently, your role is going to be more permanent now that you have been traded. And yet the playoffs aren't really realistic this season, but what are your kind of goals going to be for the rest of the season? CJ was talking about how important it is to just try to keep building for the future and stuff.
Yeah, no, you continue to build, try to get better, and just build good habits. No matter what the circumstances, you just go into every game, you try to win the game, and you just figure out ways to dissect defenses, you figure out ways to be better defensively, and just impact the game. I think that's the biggest thing is impacting the game. You don't want to just go out there and just chuck and put up stats. You want to figure out ways to impact the game and win games at some point. So if you look at those days with Shea and OKC, he was still being impactful defensively, offensively, and now it's he does that every game, and it shows with their whole team now because he has the pieces with them, and now they're number 1 in the West. So you just got to build for long term a lot of times.
Do you see this last stretch as maybe a springboard to elevate your game going into next season when the kind of hope will be renewed and hopefully you guys will be all healthy and have more of a,
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all.